that you will take this enterprise that your mother began to a much higher level, because you now have access to so much knowledge which your mother never had. So this is another thing, and then if to make sure they understand that, what we did, we immediately opened up giving them loans. So you don't have to wait for your finishing school. Finishing school, receiving that diploma, that certificate, is needed when you are in a job market, because you have to impress your potential employer how good you are, because you have a piece of paper. Otherwise, he will never talk to you. But to start an enterprise, you don't need that. So while you are in still school, why don't you begin? Start small. Try it out as you are moving your academic life. And by the time you finish your school, you have quite a platform already built for a bigger job to widen this business. And many of these young people are now starting that, creating kind of series of examples for other young people to think differently, because our mindset is so difficult. We kind of laid down a particular pattern that you go to school, get a good grade, so that you can get a good job, as if that's the scenario that everybody has to follow. Not everybody needs to do that. Everybody can start other creating job for others. Sometimes we are told that only very special kind of poor people can be successful with microcredit. I never accepted that. Whenever that kind of position is taken in a conference, in a discussion, I immediately oppose it. Because my position is very clear. I always believe that all human beings are entrepreneurs. There is no special people called entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is a part of human being. It's built into us. We came packaged with it. Simply, society didn't give chance to many to discover that part of us. So we remain satisfied with obeying other people, carrying out their jobs, without realizing that I could have been a job creator myself. I got into believing that I don't have that capacity. I said, if you give the opportunity, everybody can bring it up. Since I did say that, and people always oppose that when I mention, I said, why don't I demonstrate to people? It's a duel of words. In a duel of words, you don't know who is the winner. If I demonstrate, then they will have to demonstrate too. About 4.5 years back, I started that, a demonstration project. At the beginning, I thought maybe we'll have a couple of thousand of this demonstration. The demonstration was, why don't I give loans to beggars exclusively, just beggars, and see what happens with the money, whether they can use the money, whether they can come up with some entrepreneurial activity. So I went to the beggars, talked to them, and the basic discussion was, as you go from house to house begging, would you care to carry some merchandise with you? Some cookies, some fruits, some toys for the kids? We tried to befriend the beggars, trying to understand their life, how difficult it was, empathize with them, and then propose, would you like to think about it? And we got a very good response, very positive response. They responded in a way they would like to do such things. So we gave them loans. We said, well, to carry out this business, we'll give you loans. And the typical loan is about $15, $20. And we tell them, look, as you go from house to house, now you can give people options, whether to buy anything from you or give you something as a charity, some food, some money. So you are gainer either way. If you sell, that's good. If they don't buy anything, if you give something, that's your traditional role anyway. They liked it. But my assumption that we will have about 2,000, 3,000 beggars was wrong. We have now more than 100,000 beggars in the program. And within these 4.5 years, more than 18,000 beggars have stopped begging completely. They became successful door-to-door business people. And the remaining or so, I would say they are more or less part-time beggars, mixing, begging, selling, and they are very smart. If you talk to them, they will tell you which house is good for begging, which house is good for selling. I tell my colleagues, look, they didn't go to the Harvard Business School. But then there's still market segmentation. I tell this story because, again, getting back, if you give the opportunity to a person to discover the entrepreneurial ability in a person, he or she comes out with it. So it's providing the opportunity which makes all the difference. If I see a mother and a daughter in a village, mother is very happy, the daughter is also young, daughter looks almost like her mother. Then you want to know what the daughter is doing. And many times, I get a surprise. The daughter is a medical doctor. She is just visiting the village because she found out that I'm coming to the village. She wanted to meet me. Once you see that, mother and the daughter, it always comes back in your mind. Her mother could have been a doctor too. There's nothing wrong with her mother. Simply, she never got the opportunity. And the conclusion is very obvious. Poverty is not in the person. It's not the lack of something which makes them poor. It is always something from outside which makes them poor. Poverty is not in the person. It is imposed from outside. It's imposed by the system that we created. That's where the poverty is coming from. So that's what I was telling right in the beginning. I said, this was such a great opportunity to change the system. Because if the system is not working, it's a good time. It's easy to unpack it. If the system is working, quote unquote working, then nobody lets you touch it. Oh, don't touch it. It's working. We're so happy. Now that it's not working, we can go unpack, undo, and redesign so that the things which are creating poverty disappear.